What's going on, guys? So in this video I'm going to have a quick look and try and explain what nested loops are in Java. So let's create a class called nested loops. So cancel, let's call it nest loops, guys. Less typing. There we go. So let's create a quick constructor. So what are nested loops? That's a terrible constructor. Okay, a nested loop is a loop within another loop. So let's create a method called test nest loop. Okay, that is not good typing today. Right. Okay, void, we don't want to return anything. So let's create a for loop and let's call the variable row. And I'll explain why in a second. So row equals 0 and let's go up to 5. So this means that the loop will iterate between 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so row plus plus, so the loop variable will go up by 1 on each iteration because this is the increments operator. Okay, so now guys, let's do a nested loop. So a nested loop is just a loop within another loop. So let's call this one col for column. So let's set column also equal to 0. And we want it to iterate between 0 and 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And also go up by 1 on each iteration. Okay, so now we just actually need to see what the loop variables are doing. So let's do a print statement because that's pretty handy for giving us access to things that we want to see. So row, and let's do a little space and col. Okay, so hopefully guys, this will go through the row. So the row will start on 0 and then it will go to this one, and the column will go between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will be printed out 5 times. And then, I've got a plus there, it will go, the outer loop will go to 2, and this will iterate another 5 times. Sorry, the outer loop will go to 1. I'll start again, guys. So this is 0, and this goes through 0 to 4. Then this goes to 1, and this goes to 0 and 4 again. This goes to 2, and this goes to 0 and 4 again, and so on. So let's have a go at checking that out. So let's compile it, create a nest loops object. So this is what's happening, guys. So the row is 0 and the column is 0, and then it just goes down like this. So the row stays on 0 for 5 iterations and the column goes up, and then the row goes up by 1 and the column does all of its iterations within that 1 iteration of the outer loop, and it just carries on like this. So let's try and make it a little bit clearer. So let's say we want to put a few breaks in there. So let's put let's do that so it all prints on the same line. Let's do a little space there, and in the outer loop let's do a print line statement. So what this will do, guys, is add a new line each time a new row iteration becomes there. So forgot the first part. It's a lot of typing in Java to get a print. There we go. Compile. So let's create a new NestedLoops object, and let's clear this, and let's test it out. So what is going on here? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, I've done this in a really confusing way. So let's try and make it a bit clearer. Okay, so let's do this. System.out.println. Row starts here. And let's do this. Call iteration. Okay. Let's call this a row iteration. Right, let's compile. Okay, clear this. Row. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's do another print statement. Make a new line to make it slightly clearer, because that's completely unclear. Clear this. There we go. So that's slightly clearer. So there's a row iteration. So the row goes to, it's on 0. So it iterates 5 times here. So this is one iteration, and this iterates 5 times because it's within that iteration. And this is the 5 iterations of the inner loop. And then the row iterates to 1, and this inner loop goes back to 0 because the initialization condition always sets it to 0 when it starts. And then there's another 5 iterations, and then it goes to 2, the outer loop, and there's another 5 iterations of the inner loop. And so this blank line here is created by this. So that's pretty handy. You can actually see what's going on a lot easier. So let's just do one more thing. On each row iteration, let's actually put the row, and on each column iteration, let's put the col. So let's compile that, clear that, make a new object, and let's test the method. So row iteration 0, and then column iteration goes through 0 to 4, row iteration 1, and column iteration goes through 0 to 4, row iteration 2, column iteration goes to 0 to 4, and that's what's going on, guys. So hopefully this video helped you, and didn't even confuse you even more than you already were. But yeah, if you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you very much for watching, guys, and take it easy.